In 1520, Suleiman the Magnificent succeeds his father Selim I as Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, ruling for the next 46 years. His military conquests greatly expand the empire, pushing it as far north as Hungary, as far west as Libya, and as far east as the Persian Gulf. Up next is the answer to yesterday's quiz. In 1889, having already become the first U.S. territory to give women the vote back in 1869, the Wyoming State Convention approves a state constitution that is the first in the U.S. to grant women the right to vote. Wyoming officially becomes the 44th U.S. state and first with full women's suffrage in July 1890. In 1938, in an ill-fated attempt to avoid war, British and French Prime Ministers Neville Chamberlain and Édouard Daladier signed the infamous Munich Agreement with Adolf Hitler. Later that day, Chamberlain declares to a cheering crowd in London, "I have returned from Germany with peace for our time." But World War II begins less than a year later. In 1949, after 15 months and over 250,000 flights, the Berlin airlift officially comes to an end. The blockade that triggered the airlift is considered the first crisis of the Cold War, pushing the superpowers to the brink of World War. In 1954, the U.S. Navy commissions the USS Nautilus, the world's first nuclear-powered submarine. 4 years later, the vessel becomes the first to sail under the Arctic ice cap to the North Pole. In 1992, George Brett of the Kansas City Royals becomes only the 18th player in Major League Baseball history to get 3,000 hits. There are now 33 players who have reached the milestone. In 2005, the Danish newspaper Jyllands-Posten prints satiric cartoons that feature the Prophet Muhammad, the founder of Islam, provoking sometimes violent protests worldwide. Many Muslims discourage the creation of images of any living creature, especially humans, and prohibit images of Allah and the prophets. And now, it's time for our Today in History quiz. In 1962, who became the first black student at the University of Mississippi? James Meredith, Medgar Evers, Vernon Dahmer, or Dave Dennis? Think you know the answer? Drop your guesses in the comments below. Find out if you're right tomorrow on Today in History.